Are rich people just lucky?
So absolutely not. The more I studied rich people, and I consider myself pretty wealthy as well at this point, what I have realized is it's actually not true at all. Rich people are not lucky. It's just they have a really good practice or good practices or set of practices that they have around. The first set of practices is what I call 3 Ls or L3. Right. The first L is that they actually love money. Like most rich people actually are in love with money. Not loving money to do bad things or whatever. They just love money. They like the flexibility. They like the lifestyle. They want to be able to experience things. They just love money. They have no dissociation or money is evil kind of stories in their mind. They don't. They just love money, and they are okay with loving money. They may not say it publicly because it's often looked down upon, but they love money, right? The second L is that they learn about money. They're not somebody who just reads a book, but they read many. They sit with people and talk about money. They're comfortable with sitting down with a financial advisor and talk to them for 3 hours, even if they're not understanding a word of what he's saying, because financial advisors often try to confuse the crap out of you for whatever reason. But they love to learn about money. So they will keep asking questions until they've gotten to what the hell does that one thing that somebody's talking about mean, and is it valuable or not? Right? So they love they love money and they learn about money. And the third thing, which I think is the most important thing that most people cannot do, is they know how to linger with money.
Ooh.
They just know how to sit with money. They don't have a problem if they have money in their bank account. They don't have a problem if their credit card is not being utilized enough. They can sit with money. They can sit with a lot of money in their bank account without having a problem with it. They can have a big investment account and they don't need to go buy anything. They're not fascinated by the outside glitz and glamour. And I'm talking about real wealthy people. I'm not talking about the people who look wealthy. I'm talking about people who are wealthy. People who are wealthy are not affected by the latest car. They don't give a shit. They can linger with money, which means they can sit with money without having to do anything with it.
Why is that so important to learn how to linger with money?
It's probably one of the most important things. That's why most people live in debt, especially in America. I mean, if you talk to Americans, most Americans, and I think numbers, average American is in debt of, I think, $5,000 at any given time, or whatever number, something like that at least. And this is not including, this is credit card debt is what I'm talking about. They usually have $1,000 to $5,000 in credit card debt at any given time that they cannot pay off immediately, or they don't have even $1,000 in their savings account. Now, that's because we don't know how to sit with money. We just have no idea what to do. The moment we make a little bit of money, we immediately go and spend on something that we don't even need. Right? And the resources or the ability around us has created even more structures that makes it harder for us to be able to linger with money. So, and that really challenges a person, and so they can't. And this is a learned skill. You need to learn how to linger with money. If you can learn just how to sit with money, you'll just be wealthy just by that, because you actually will be like, I don't have to spend it. The second key that I've seen rich people do is what I call DPS. DPS is dream, pursue, and skills. What does that mean? First of all, wealthy people always have a dream. You can talk to them at any given time. They have a dream. And they have a dream that they really pursue. They are not just saying, oh, this is my dream, and then it's the same dream three years later. No, they've already pursued it, and they've gotten somewhere. Either they have quit it or they have actually got it, right? So it's or they're moving towards it, or they will get it very, very soon. So they have a dream and then pursue it. But most importantly, they're always acquiring valuable skills that upgrades and moves them towards their dream so they can have the dream come true. This last part of skills, again, is the tricky part. Most of us would go get a degree, will go get a job, and keep functioning in that role for a very, very long time. We don't realize that if you don't upgrade your skill level, the job is only going to pay you that much. And that's okay. That's fine if that's where your comfort is at and that's what you want to do. But if you dream of a big dream, and if you want to make more money than you have made today, or you want to make more money in the next 5 years than you're making today, then you gotta have a high value skill. A high value skill is a skill that is valued out in the market higher than what your current value is, right? Every skill has a value, and the specialization of skills give you some more value. But what really gives you more value is your ability to communicate, connect with people, manage people, and manage a complex project, or if not complex, at least a project, right? Or simplify something that's complicated. That's really where the value sits. That's where you get paid. you don't really get paid just because you're a good worker, which is, again, a common theme. Like, people think, oh, I'll just work hard. That doesn't get you paid more. That can get you paid more a little bit, but only that much more. What really gets you paid is your ability and your skills. So you got to keep upgrading your skills. Your skills must be better than yesterday, every single day.
And what's the third thing? I know you have an acronym called HAT.
Yes. So HAT stands for hard work. Not hard work doesn't pay, smart work does. And you've heard it a million times, but most of the time we don't know what's the distinction between them. Hard work is where you are basically just working more hours, right? So 10, 12 hours a day, you're just working, you're going at it. That's hard work. Nothing wrong with it. It is something that is required when you're in your 20s, maybe your early 30s, when you're developing skill and attitude and you're finding out what you really want. Yes, you need to work hard. Very, very, very hard. But once you start to hit 35 and 40, you got to ask yourself, did I actually acquire any skills? Because if you did, you better switch to what is called smart work. Smart work is your ability to do the most important things in a short period of time, because nothing else matters. Your ability to simplify is what really creates momentum. See, many people get fascinated when they learn that I only work maybe 4 hours a day for 4 days a week, maybe 5 sometimes, right? Except for odd days sometimes, like today we have to do this on a Sunday. That's mostly because I'm on a holiday next week all week. So stuff like that happens, but generally, if you look at my schedule, it's 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. That's it. After that, I go work out, I go spend time with my family, I go to spend time with my friends, I travel, and I take 3-4 days off every single week. And the reason I could make that work, or the reason why it works for me, is because I only work on the most important things, right? Because I've acquired skills at this point, and I keep acquiring them consistently, that I don't have to do everything else. I have to only do those very important things, because that moves the needle a lot more than anything else. See, 80% of the world at this point is what I would call an intellectual worker. An intellectual worker is somebody who takes in information, processes it, and spits out a different set of information. And that's what most of us do in today's world, right? Except if you're working for a restaurant and you're a chef or something like that, right? That's maybe 20%, maybe 30% of the world does that. But about 60, 70% of the world is an intellectual work, right? We're doing some kind of processing of information. If you are processing information, it is no point for you to work 12-hour days. Your ability to process information significantly declines after 3-4 hours of good work. If it's not good work, it is there till the end of the day, because you never used your brain. If you used your brain and you did intellectual work, you probably exhausted all its capacity 4 or 5 hours down, right? Which is also why when entrepreneurs say I'm working 12 hours, they're often not actually working. They're mostly in communication. They're mostly communicating, right? When you see a CEO saying, look at my day in the life of CEO. I started at 8 in the morning and I ended at 8 p.m. in the night. Firstly, that's terrible for them. But secondly, even if that's the life they desire, it's mostly because guess what they were doing for those 12 hours? They were meeting people. They were never sitting on a computer writing an email. Maybe they did that for an hour.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Rest of the time, they were in communication. They're producing that's a highly valuable skill. It's communication, right? They're not actually working that we call for more than 2-3 hours a day, right? On their computer? No, they never. And that's what exhausts you. Communication doesn't exhaust you. You sitting down having an intellectual conversation stimulates you.
Yeah.
You can do that for 12-hour days. You can't really sit on a computer work for 12-hour days. They're not really working. From the way people perceive work is what I'm trying to say. So you have to switch from hard work to smart work at some point in your career. The first 5-10 years of your career, maybe 15 years of your career, you will be working hard. But that's mostly because you're acquiring those skills. It's not actually that you're working, you're acquiring skills. And if you're not acquiring skills, you got to question the work you're doing.